Hello, beautiful souls. It's Steph, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where every week I share with you videos on how to get fit and get paid freelancing. Make sure you give a little tap on that subscribe button below to stay up to date on when new videos come out each week. And Forrester for sure wants you to hit that subscribe, all right, you guys? He also wants to remind you that last week's episode was fantastic. So if you haven't yet checked out last week's video, go watch it now, hit pause, do that one first, and then come back to this one. It's a good order to watch them in. Today's video topic comes from one of you. On Instagram, Victoria asked me, what kinds of freelancing service have you made the most from and why? So I figured I'd share that and go even deeper and expand upon that in today's video. Today's video is titled My 4-Step Formula to Choosing a Gig to Sell on Fiverr. So I'm going to share with you guys what gigs have done best for me, but also the 4-step formula that I have used to choose exactly what to sell on Fiverr as a freelancer, so you can follow this step-by-step process to decide what you can sell on Fiverr or other freelancing platforms as well. So make sure you watch until the end so that you can learn this exact 4-step process to creating a gig that's not just going to sit up there on the platform idle and not get any traction, any clicks, any messages. A gig that's actually going to sell and convert into money for you. As I said, Victoria had a fantastic question wanting to know what gigs do the best for me. But I don't want to make this video all about me, so I'm going to share with you briefly what has done well for me, but I also want to make it turn around to apply it to you. What gigs can do best for you based on your own education, knowledge, expertise, and passions, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. At the surface level, we can easily see which couple gigs of mine have done the best for me just by going to the analytics. Fiverr has a really super easy platform to assess how many views and clicks each of your gigs get specifically. So all you gotta do is go to the seller dashboard, go to My Business, and then go to Gigs. From there, you can see under each column for each separate gig, the number of impressions, clicks, and number of orders for each gig. And then you can assess which ones are doing well, which ones aren't. And therefore, you can go in and you can edit those gigs at any time of day, edit them, tweak them a bit, and then let them run for another month and go back and assess a month later. So let's take a second to define what those analytics mean, all right? Fiverr impressions mean the number of times that your gig was scrolled by a viewer. Like it came up in their search for a service and it popped up in the search and they actually saw it, right? Then we can go a step further by going to clicks. How many times someone actually saw the service pop up in their search and they actually clicked on it to learn more, to go to the gig, to read about the gig, to click through the photo examples, and perhaps maybe even reach out or purchase, right? And then from there, if they actually purchased an order, either directly through the gig or by messaging you and getting a custom offer for that gig, if they purchase, that's what the order analytic means. So I love Fiverr. They deliver you these analytics for free, and it's so easy to see what's doing well and what's not. As a fitness niche freelancer, we can then see what my top 3 selling gigs are. One is creating photos and videos with my dog. One is creating user-generated content videos with fitness and health products. And another is just creating overall exercise fitness videos and TikTok videos. So essentially, I have 3 gigs that are doing well that combine my education and expertise, my experience, as well as my passions. And that is the winning formula for creating gigs that do well. It's when you combine your education, your experience, and your passions, all 3 of those things into a really beautiful package that you're gonna do well. Because you love what you're doing, it's going to clearly show in your delivery or the work that you create, and you're going to deliver things that are of such a high quality because you have expert knowledge or experience doing that particular service, right? Which leads me into the next topic I want to talk about. Why are these gigs making me so much money? Let's go deeper. Why are they doing well? What's the reason why? Is it because I'm paying to advertise them on Fiverr so they show up at the top of the searches? No, I've never paid to advertise on Fiverr. Is it because I say, hey everyone, I'm a doctor, physical therapy, hire me? No, I don't have my name on Fiverr as a doctor. I mean, I think it's mentioned somewhere, but it's not like what I'm trying to attract people with. I'm attracting people through my passions, my clear messaging and copywriting for my gigs, and the high 5-star reviews. But to make this extra crystal clear, I think that my gigs are doing well because number one, I'm passionate. I'm passionate about what I do, creating photos, creating videos. It's not just something that I'm doing because I hate my job. It's very clear that I love what I do, and I take the time to perfect my skills so that I can deliver super high quality products because I love this work so much. I've gone from speaking in front of the camera in a way where it was not very confident, the lighting was poor, I wasn't very good at selling things, and now I feel like I'm an expert in this because I've taken the time to practice and get better at it because I love it. The passion seeps through my skin and it's just like this positive energy of confidence for what I do, and it's that energy that's going to attract the clients to me. So that's part one. That's like one part of why I think these gigs are doing well. The second reason why these gigs are doing well is because of strategy. I don't just put up a Fiverr gig and then sit around and wait. I'm not just sitting around and waiting and like making myself part of the thousands of options people can choose from. No, I have a specific strategy I follow to make sure my gigs succeed. And it all comes back to the analytics. Every single month, I'm checking these analytics to see how I can edit my gig to make it even better, to keep it up to date with the times, up to date with what people need, what the demand is, what people are searching for frequently on Fiverr, to make sure that the way I package my gig is ideal. The number one mistake I see new Fiverr freelancers make is that they're lazy. They just put a gig up and then they sit around, twiddle their thumbs, and hope that someone's gonna purchase the gig. But here's the thing. With anything else business related, do you just post something and then not share it or put any work into trying to sell it, right? Like, let me give you a real life example. If someone were to post a dog collar on Amazon, right? Are they just gonna post it and then do nothing else? No, they're gonna have a strategy in place. They're gonna get on their social media on multiple different platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. They're gonna start posting videos and photos of their product. They're gonna start sharing information about what sets this dog collar apart from the others. They're going to not only like share on social media, but they're probably gonna reach out to people and be like, hey, can I send you a free product to get your honest review? They're gonna do the work. You don't just post and sit around and do nothing, right, Forrester? So if you take anything at all from this video, it's to please, please, please take strategic action after putting up a Fiverr gig. Don't just put it up and sit around. Take action to try and get orders. This doesn't mean you need to cold message people on Fiverr. In fact, it's really not something you're supposed to do anyways. But it means you can go into the buyer request section and see what sort of things people are needing and try and get the first few orders under your belt so you can get a few good reviews. That way, you'll start popping up higher in the search engine. Another way you can take strategic aligned action is to start sharing that you are selling these services. Whether it's on your own social media, your own website, wherever it is, just get the word out there that, hey, you guys, I'm trying out this new freelancing venture. If you have any need for this service, please reach out. You can definitely find friends and family who maybe need to hire you for this service. You could give them an at a discounted rate, since it's like new for you and you want to get some good reviews first, there's absolutely nothing wrong with bringing your own clients to the Fiverr platform to get in some orders and reviews initially. And strategy for putting up gigs that do well and checking the analytics regularly to make sure that those gigs are evolving over time. Let me share with you an example of how I've evolved my gigs over time so it makes a little bit more sense. I started my Fiverr in December of 2017, and I started by selling just one gig. I put it up there and I was like, I will sell workout videos because I was passionate about exercise and teaching people correct form because I was a fitness instructor, and I also knew that I was good at making videos. Of course, I needed some practice speaking on camera, presenting on camera, and editing videos. That was new to me, so I took the time to learn those skills, but I had the passion and the education and the skill set, and then I had to just use some strategy to create this first gig on Fiverr. So I initially listed the gig and titled it something like this: I will create workout videos for you. All right, I slowly got a few orders in. It was very slow the first 2 years because I didn't really prioritize it. I was still a physical therapist. This was just my side thing, and I had no expectations for it. I was just like, you know what the heck? I'm gonna throw this gig up. If I get any orders, great. If not, no big deal. I didn't really treat it as a business until about 2020. So those first like 2 to 3 years, it was just kind of like taking what I could get sort of thing. But that's how I listed my very first gig on Fiverr. So throughout the course of 2018, 2019, I started to gain a little more traction, and like there were even months where I was making a couple $100. I was thrilled. I was like, oh, okay, this could actually work. Maybe I should actually like pay attention and like, you know, spend a little more time on trying to grow this. I didn't realize I could just make money doing this sort of stuff that I love doing. It doesn't feel like work. What? This is crazy. So around 2019, moving into 2020, I started to actually apply a little bit more strategy to it. It was no longer just the passion, but it was like, let's start to strategize. Let's get a little more clear on what keywords are performing well, what titles do well for searches, how I can package things in 2 to 3 options for people, how I can deliver higher quality of videos and photos for people and edit them better and just make them happier with their deliveries overall. Let's apply some strategy. And when I took that original passion for anything health and fitness related and creating content, and I combined it with strategy, that is when things took off and I had my first like 30K year, all because I applied strategy. The main way that I strategized was just checking those analytics regularly to see if there were any tiny changes that I could make for my gigs each month. And one simple tool that I learned in PT school that I always remember is to test, treat, and retest. And that applies with anything business related. A lot of business is an experiment. So you see how things are going, you analyze them or test them. Then you experiment by treating it or adjusting it, editing in some way, and then a month later, retest or reassess, basically, right? So I was like, all right, let's go ahead and experiment. Let's try out some little changes here and there. I would have a little journal logbook. All right, August 2020, I made this tiny change to this gig title. I changed the price for this gig, and I just made a few tiny changes. And then September, I would go back and I would reassess. Did those changes help me or hurt me? And what can I do to make each one better? So hopefully it's really crystal clear now what you guys need to do to create a gig that does well, that is a great combination of passion and strategy, and that also combines your education expertise and things that just bring you joy, that you love doing, all right? Hopefully that's clear now. So since you've stuck around, I have a little gift for you today, and it's basically the 4-step formula that I have used to create gigs over the years. I've got like 10 gigs now, and I'm changing them every so often, but you as a new freelancer, you can use these same 4 steps. Whether you're new to freelancing, you've tried it a little bit, or even if you're more experienced like I am, these 4 steps to creating a successful gig that will sell can be used no matter where you are on your freelancing journey. All right, you guys, so sit down at your computer, get out your journals, wherever you want to write this down. You don't want to lose this. Step number 1 of the 4-step process to creating gigs that sell is to decide exactly what it is that you have a high-level education or high-level expert knowledge in. What topic are you like a pro at? Would you consider yourself an expert at? Would you consider yourself to have more knowledge than the average person about? Now, of course, if you went to school like I did, you got your doctorate in a specific field, physical therapy, I know the body well. I know health and fitness super, super well, right? But let's say you didn't go to college, or you went to college and you majored in something very general, like English or something. Well, yeah, that could be an option too. Maybe you're really good at writing or editing or proofreading or whatever. Even if you didn't go to college, what is just something that you have always taken more of an interest to learn more about? What is a topic that you tend to find yourself reading about more often or watching documentaries about more often? What is something that you know a lot about that most of your friends and family don't know much about? That is the area in which you have like a more high-level, expert-level knowledge about that topic. And that could potentially be a topic that you can niche down in. But just write it down. Step 1, figure out what your expertise topic is. Next up, step number 2 is to write down something that you're super passionate about, a skill that you love doing, a hobby you love, a topic you love talking about. What are a couple things that you just love? They light you up, they bring you joy, you love learning about them, you could talk about them for hours. All right, moving on to step number 3, it's to create a couple gigs based on those topics from 1 and 2. So what is a gig that you could sell? When I say gig, I mean a service or an offer. What is something that you could sell that combines 1 and 2, that combines your expert topic with your passion? Write down those ideas, and I want you to create 3 gigs based on that idea, but you're going to package them all a little different. So 1 gig is going to have this title, the next is going to have a slightly different title, the next is going to have a slightly different title, but they're all roughly a similar service. We're doing this experiment. We've figured out what you want to sell, but now we're going to experiment and see what sort of packaging appeals to your audience or the buyers best, right? So you're going to create 3 gigs, but have slightly different titles, slightly different keywords used, slightly different pricing and package options, and slightly different images to show examples of your work. Have 3 services up, 3 gigs up that are just about very similar, but package them with different colored bows, different wrapping paper, and leave them up for a month. And this is your experiment. And then a month later, you check the analytics and you see which one is doing best. And leave the one up that is doing best. Which leads me into step 4, which is to evolve. Assess your analytics on a monthly basis and allow those gigs to evolve over time. Edit them over time based on how the analytics are doing. Add new gigs based on what's doing really well. Remove gigs that are doing awful and not selling at all. Use the keywords that seem to be working really well over and over in multiple gigs. So if you have a gig that's doing really well, maybe create another one that's very similar but has a few slight tweaks and experiment for another month. Business is all about evolution. It's all about allowing what's up with the times and what's current to allow you to evolve and grow with it. If you are not evolving and growing, then you are going to gradually slow down, lose business, and not do so well. I do believe it's super important that what you're selling is something that you understand really well, but you also enjoy doing. You see, I've tried selling things that I didn't enjoy doing. For example, in the beginning of my Fiverr career, I tried selling blog writing. I would write health and fitness blogs, but the truth is I had an expert level knowledge on them. Of course I did, but I didn't really enjoy the writing all that much. And so the gig never really took off because I just truly didn't love it. And I was like, every time I got an order, I was like, here we go again. And I think that could show in my deliveries and my sales tactics. I didn't really love it. So don't try and post something just to make money. Post things that you are certain you're actually gonna love. And if what you love changes over time, I know my human design lovers, if you're a manifesting generator, a manifester, you may be a little bit more multi-passionate, and what you love may change and evolve over time. And that's the great thing about freelancing. You can take down a gig at any time, put up a new gig at any time. You can allow your online freelancing business to evolve over the months, over the years, based on what your own passions and joys in life are, which is amazing. What sort of business can you do that in these days? Most businesses are like pretty set in stone. Here's how we do things. You can't just like make these sudden changes at any given moment, right? But with freelancing, it's your own business and you get to do what you want. So you know how to create these gigs, you know the 4-step process, and now let's go ahead and wrap up. I want to say it is super easy to set up a Fiverr. Anyone can set up a Fiverr, but it's not easy to make money consistently on Fiverr unless you have the passion, the strategy, and the room for flow or evolution. That's when your gigs are going to succeed. It's the people who go that extra step to not just put a gig up, but also to have a strategy behind it to help that gig sell. Those are the freelancers that are going to do well. So keep experimenting, keep evolving over time as you would with any other major business. Freelancing is your online business, so treat it that way. All right, well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't yet watched these other 2 videos, go check them out now, because if you loved this one, I'm sure you're gonna love these as well. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comment them below. I respond to all comments. And as always, peace and love.